Now we will move into part 2 of this tutorial, where I show you how to run this process on several photos at once. We will create a semi-automated process that will save us time when we have a lot of photos to process. You can use this method to track the increase of leaf area over time. Our first step in Photoshop is to create a custom action that will allow us to automate the color range step that we learned in part 1. In the Actions panel, click on the folder icon to create a new set. A box will pop up and you can enter the name for your set. Let's put Leaf Area Process. Click OK, and the folder you just created will be added to the list of actions. Click on your new folder and then click the sticky note icon to create a new action. A box will pop up and you can enter a name for your action. I'll put Select Green Pixels. Next to Set, make sure it has the name of the set you just created. Once we hit the record button, Photoshop will record what we do. You will know that it's recording because the circle icon at the bottom of the action panel will be red. You can stop recording by selecting the white square located directly to the left of the circle. Go ahead and click Record, and we're going to go through the color range step that we learned in part 1. I'll go through it quickly here. Now press the stop button and your action has been recorded. So now you have a custom action that you can simply click and run to perform the color range action automatically on any photo. Photoshop will save your action so you do not have to recreate it every time. Now we will process a large batch of photos. Open the photos you want to process and go ahead and crop them if needed. Then go to File, Automate, and Batch. You will select the name of the set and action that you just recorded. Under Source, select Open Files, or if you haven't opened your photos yet, you can select Folder and choose your photos from the files on your computer. The Errors portion of the box lets you choose if you want to stop the entire process if an error occurs, or you can choose to log any errors to a text file. We'll choose the latter and designate a location for the file to be saved. Ideally, we won't run into any errors when our batch process is running. However, if we do, we can open this text file afterwards and find out what went wrong. The right side of this box, labeled Destination, lets you decide what happens to your photo after the batch process is finished. For our purpose, we won't want to save any changes we make since we only want to record the number of pixels. So go ahead and select None. Now you can press OK and your batch process will start running. If you have lots of photos, this may take a few minutes. When the batch process is done, each of your photos should have the plant selected with a dashed line. If you need to add to or take away from the selection, you can use the Quick Selection tool located on the toolbar on the left side of the screen. The default mode of the Quick Selection tool is to take away from your selection. It shows a circle with a minus sign in the middle. But you can hold the Shift key down, and inside the circle it will change to a plus sign. In this mode, you can add to your selection. Use the Quick Selection tool with either the minus sign or the plus sign to make any manual corrections as needed. Then you can open the histogram box in each of your photos and record the number of pixels. Then perform the calculations from part 1 with your reference area. I'll show you how I set it up in Excel. We're using the same equation as part 1 and the same pixel and area values for our reference area. Over here you can see I took photos of the same plant every day for a few weeks, and here's where I entered the pixel values that I found using our Photoshop process. I've entered the equation for leaf area, and I'm going to double click so that it applies the equation to the whole column. So now you can track your leaf area over time, and you can use this as an index of plant growth. There are a few things you'll want to keep in mind with this method in order to minimize error. Always use the same camera settings to avoid user error. I recommend using autofocus and putting your camera in auto mode. If your photos rely on natural light, such as in a greenhouse or outdoors, take photos at the same time each day so that the lighting conditions are consistent. Most importantly, make sure that the distance from the plant to the camera lens is the same for each photo. You can do this by using a tripod or a camera stand. You can place a small level on your camera to ensure that your camera angle is perfectly aerial. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope it was helpful.